Okay, do you want to know what it really feels like to jump out of a plane and fly?
How does it feel to skydive? What was the experience like?
How does skydiving feel?
Over these next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what happens when you learn to skydive and do my best to articulate how it feels, because it certainly doesn't feel normal. Oh my god. I've wanted to learn to skydive ever since I was a little kid. And finally, after years of dreaming, I'm here at SkydiveOz in Moruya, which I've been told is arguably the best learn to skydive center in Australia. And I'm hoping it is, because I'm putting my life in these guys' hands. So here we go. Let's go and experience what it's really like learning to jump out of a plane and live to tell the tale. I'm sort of nervous, but also really excited. So let this challenge begin. And so, over the next few days, I learned so much. Monday was a full day of theory, learning the ins and outs of skydiving. Probably only a pinch of what there is to learn, but a full 8 hours nonetheless. Everything from the history of skydiving to how it's progressed over the years, how to exit the plane, how to free fall, how to fly the parachute, and then of course how to land it safely. We were taught pretty much every malfunction and emergency procedures over and over and over again. So there was a ton of new information which seemed pretty damn important to remember. But fortunately they gave us a booklet full of the things that we'd learned, so we could always go back and reference that or ask the instructors. So with a head full of new information, I went to bed pretty early, both excited and sort of nervous for Tuesday, the day where we were planning to jump out of the plane for the first time, depending on the weather of course. And luck was on our side. We woke up at 7 AM and the weather was beautiful. Blue sky and very light wind, which was pretty much the ideal conditions to learn to skydive in. But before we even got onto the plane, I had to go back through the whole procedure, the jump from start to finish, and of course my emergency procedures, till the instructors felt comfortable that I would get it right. And then before I knew it, it was time to get on the plane. And this is when the nerves slightly started to kick in. But it wasn't until we reached 15,000 feet, green light went on and the sliding door was opened and the wind was rushing past that it really hit me. I was about to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. What am I doing? But fortunately, I had practiced everything from this point over and over again, so I knew what steps I had to take to pull this off successfully. And so when it was my turn to jump, I made my way over to the door, got into position, checked in, checked out, and I jumped. I was blown away with just how fast we started accelerating, and I remember feeling this sudden rush as we fell away from the plane. It's very hard to kind of articulate exactly what it feels like, because to be honest, it feels not quite like anything I had ever experienced before. Potentially that first initial lurch in the stomach might be like doing a huge cliff jump or bungee jumping, but then as you continue to fall and I became stable, that initial feeling completely went away. It was almost as if the fact that I was falling at 200 kilometers per hour from 15,000 feet up in the air didn't even register with my brain. It was like it wasn't even reality. Now I know that sounds really weird, but it's sort of like the reference point between you and the ground is so far away that your brain doesn't register you're falling towards the earth. The main reference point was between me and the instructor. So it kind of felt like we were just like floating there. And one of the first things you'll notice is the slightest movements create pretty significant changes to your body position, which is what we were about to be taught over the next few jumps, how to fly. And then before I knew it, we were at 5,500 feet and it was time to deploy the canopy, the most crucial part of the skydive. And so just as I had practiced, wave, arch, reach, deploy, and just like that, my my parachute opened nice and successfully. Great success. Well, I still needed to fly this thing to the ground, but for some reason that didn't feel quite as daunting now that I had this huge 220-foot square canopy over my head. Now, landing became a skill of its own, but fortunately, with the help of the instructors on the radio in my earpiece, I managed to land nice and safely. And thankfully, so did my brother Joe. How's that?
Success.
Jump one done. Unbelievable. Feeling good?
Yeah, very good. Came for the second time.
Yeah, me too, bro. That was probably one of the sickest things I've ever done. And so much more peaceful and chill than I thought it was. I thought my nerves were gonna be through the roof. And actually, like, I was just focusing on my stuff and just enjoying the view. And it was like, so good. I don't know about you, Joe, but I've got this like buzz. It's like, I feel like I'm on a high.
You're addicted.
I'm addicted. Oh, I hope it never leaves because I'm feeling so good right now. It's almost like a dream, eh? It's like, almost like, I can't believe I just did that. Successful day yesterday. We're just running through the procedures of what we do in the flight today. So one of the instructors is gonna let go and come in front of us. So we have to make sure we lock in with that guy. And I'm just gonna go through the bag checks right now, make sure my parachute is all safe to jump. And then it's go time. And so we continue to jump, practicing the important things we had learned over and over again. And soon I noticed something else interesting. Because on each jump I was doing so many calculated moves and maneuvers and practicing my procedures each step of the way, the nerves would go away quite quickly. And the beauty of it was that as they kind of went away, it enabled me to take a breath and enjoy what I was doing a little bit more. So quite quickly, the more I jumped, the less nervous I was and the more fun I was having. Perhaps it was because my point of focus was between me and the instructor. I almost wasn't able to kind of look down too much and take in the fact that I was plummeting towards the ground. But looking back now, I think that that was a pretty important aspect because of course skydiving does have the potential to have some very serious consequences. I think it's very important that we weren't distracted so much as being able to focus on getting each specific action successfully. And so over the next few days, we kept jumping as much as we could depending on the weather conditions. Unfortunately, we had a couple days where the wind picked up relatively early on, so we were only able to get maybe 1 or 2 jumps in. But on Friday, we had this perfect conditions and we ended up jumping like pretty much the whole day. Now, as we continue to jump, we were taught things like how to move sideways, how to move forwards, how to turn, and like just tiny little adjustments, tiny little dips of the elbow, and you'd spin pretty quickly. It was remarkable how sensitive the changes were, and as such we were slowly taught how to fly our bodies instead of just falling, which brought a whole new level of excitement. One thing I've been struggling with is my landing because yeah, I don't know, I thought it'd be easier than it is. I've been either flaring a little bit too early or a little bit too late.
Flare all the way down, man.
And sometimes I get caught in a bit of like a burble or the wind changes just as I come into land.
Oh, good to watch that one.
And I slam in pretty hard. But free fall has been awesome. Like, it's just such a fun experience learning to move around and fly through the air as you're falling at 200 kilometers an hour. The instructors have been super awesome. There to answer all my ridiculous, wacky questions that I'm sending their way with so much patience. But it wasn't until the 9th jump where we were able to do a solo jump, which literally meant we'd go up in the plane by ourselves, jump out, do everything all by ourselves, where I was really able to kind of step back and take in what I was doing. Because all the previous jumps up to this point had been so focused on following each step, this jump where I was all by myself, I had the time to kind of look around, enjoy that awesome feeling of free fall. It was by far the most enjoyable jump I had done, and it gave me a little taste tester for what I realized was to come if I continued skydiving. And so just like that, on Friday afternoon, after a full day of jumping under pretty much perfect conditions. Wow, that wraps up an incredible week of flying through the air. I've been smiling pretty much the whole week. All right, so these are the boys that I did the course with, and fortunately, we all passed. What do you think, boys?
Laurie nearly failed, but
I almost failed.
Yeah, it was such a cool experience.
yeah, just unforgettable.
When you're finally under control and you know how to manage yourself, that feeling of free falling is a dream come true.
How was it, brah? Did you have a good trip?
I don't know,
I'm a bit shy.
So much fun jumping with him. Oh man.
Thanks for being you, man.
No, thanks for being you. It was a good week, eh?
Yeah, bro, like in this moment in the plane where we're about to drive is
Yeah.
okay.
Let's go. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I'm keen to jump more with you, bro.
Bro, anytime. Let's come here again.
Hey! I've now officially got my A license, which means I could jump anywhere around the world. I don't know if you can tell, it's hard for me to wipe the smile off my face when I think about it, but I'm really excited. And so there you go. I finished my full 10 stages of the AFF Learn to Skydive course. I would definitely recommend, if any of you are thinking about learning to skydive and you're in Australia, it's worth making the trip down 4 hours south of Sydney and learning to skydive with SkydiveOz. I'm so glad I've done it, and I can't wait to come back down and jump more and skydive more and just do it over and over again. Whew. On that note, this is not the end of the journey, but it's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned or had some sort of insight into what it really feels like learning to skydive. And as always, I will see you in the next crazy challenge that I come up with.